woman who forgot herself, she wasn't always this way. Cold, distant, invisible. There was a time when she was soft, when she believed in love, when she trusted with her whole heart. But life has a way of teaching us lessons we never asked for. And sometimes, those lessons come from the people we love most. This is her story. Her name was Emma, and 5 years ago, she was a completely different person. That was Emma at 23. She was the kind of girl who noticed beauty in small things, who took time to pick out the perfect outfit, who believed that being feminine, being soft, being gentle wasn't a weakness. It was her strength. She was in love. His name was Jake. And when she looked at him, she saw her future. She trusted him completely. The way you trust someone when you've never been betrayed before, when your heart is still unbroken. But there were signs, small ones. The way he'd check his phone during their conversations. The way he'd say, "We'll see," instead of "yes." The way his eyes would drift away when she talked about her dreams. But Emma, she explained them away. Because that's what we do when we love someone, right? We ignore the red flags. We tell ourselves stories. We convince ourselves everything is fine until we can't anymore. One evening, Emma's best friend Rachel called. Her voice was shaking. "Can we talk? It's important." Emma made tea. She set out 2 cups. She waited. And when Rachel arrived, everything changed. Emma poured the tea with steady hands, but inside she could feel it. Something was wrong. Rachel couldn't look her in the eyes. Finally, Emma asked, "What's going on? You're scaring me." And Rachel took a breath. "It's about Jake." Emma's heart stopped. "What about him?" "He's been seeing someone else for months." The room went silent. Emma felt the world tilt. She laughed, not because it was funny, but because sometimes shock sounds like laughter. "That's not funny, Rachel." "I'm not joking," Rachel whispered. "I saw them together, multiple times." Emma's voice was barely audible. "Who?" And Rachel looked down at her hands, started crying, and said the words that would shatter everything. "Me." Imagine that moment. Your boyfriend, your best friend, the 2 people you trusted most in the world, both of them betraying you, together. Emma stood up. Her voice was hollow, empty. "Get out." Rachel tried to explain. Please, it just happened. We tried to stop." "Get out! Get out of my house!" The door slammed, and Emma stood there, alone. In the apartment she'd decorated with so much care, surrounded by photographs of the 3 of them, all smiling, all lies. She picked up one of the frames, stared at their faces, and threw it against the wall. It shattered, just like her heart. 2 years passed. Emma moved to a new city, a place where no one knew her name, where no one knew her story, where she could disappear. And that's exactly what she did. She stopped wearing makeup, stopped styling her hair, stopped caring about clothes. What was the point? Beauty attracted attention. Attention led to connection. Connection led to trust. And trust led to betrayal. So she built walls, high ones, made of work, money, control. She woke up at 5:30 every morning. No alarm needed. Her body was programmed. Coffee, laptop, work, no breakfast, no time for that. She worked through lunch, through dinner, through nights and weekends. Her colleagues would invite her out. "Emma, want to grab lunch?" "Can't. I have reports due." "Come on, just one drink after work?" "Maybe next time." But next time never came. She told herself she was being smart, strategic, focused. But the truth? She was hiding, running from connection, because if she never let anyone in, they could never hurt her again. The years blurred together. Same routine, same empty apartment, same cold, functional, not anymore. The next day, Emma made an appointment. Hair salon. She sat in the chair, and the stylist ran her fingers through her neglected hair. "When was the last time you got a proper cut?" Emma couldn't even remember. 2 hours later, she looked in the mirror. Her hair was shorter, healthier, styled with care. She touched it, almost afraid it would disappear. The stylist smiled. "You look beautiful." And for the first time in years, Emma believed it. Then came the clothes. She went to stores she used to love, tried on a tailored blazer, looked at herself in the fitting room mirror. It fit perfectly. The sales associate said, "You look powerful." And Emma realized she felt powerful. She started taking care of her skin, face masks, moisturizer, simple things. But they weren't really about the products, were they? They were about taking time for herself, about saying, "I matter, I'm worth this." She joined a gym, not to change her body, but to feel alive again, to feel strong. She started cooking real meals, fresh vegetables, quality ingredients, sitting down to eat instead of standing at the counter. Slowly, her apartment changed too. A plant here, a soft blanket there, candles, books, color, warmth. She was coming back to life. 6 weeks later, Emma walked into the office, hair styled, subtle makeup that made her eyes bright again, a well-fitted dress and blazer, confident posture, conversations stopped. People looked up. They noticed. Sarah's eyes went wide. "Emma," Emma smiled, a real smile. "Good morning, Sarah. You look incredible." "Thank you for everything you said." Sarah walked over, touched her arm. "I'm proud of you." And then something unexpected happened. Throughout the day, men started approaching her. Michael from accounting brought her coffee. "Thought you might need this." She was surprised. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," he said, smiling. "Actually, would you want to grab lunch sometime? Outside the office?" Emma's heart raced. Old fears crept in. The voice in her head screaming, "Don't trust him. Don't trust anyone." But she looked at him. Just a kind gesture. Just a human being reaching out. "Maybe," she said carefully. "Let me think about it." He nodded. No pressure, and walked away. Later that week, another colleague asked her to dinner to prepare for a presentation together. She politely declined. But here's the thing. She realized she had a choice now. She wasn't invisible anymore. She was being seen, and she got to decide who she let in. That wasn't weakness, that was power. One evening, Emma stood by her window, tea in hand, looking out at the city lights. Her phone buzzed. "Sarah, drinks this weekend? You, me, and a few of the girls." The old Emma would have said no immediately. Safer that way. But this Emma, she typed, "I'd like that." Later that night, she stood in front of her mirror again. But this time, she wasn't checking her appearance. She was seeing herself, really seeing herself. And she spoke to her reflection. "They broke you, and you let them keep you broken for so long. But you're not broken anymore." She thought about Jake, about Rachel, the betrayal that shattered everything, and she realized something. For 3 years, she thought becoming hard meant she was strong, that if she didn't need anyone, they couldn't hurt her. But she was wrong. Strength isn't walls. Strength isn't isolation. Strength is choosing to live fully, even after you've been hurt. Choosing to be soft when the world tells you to be hard. Choosing to hope when fear says it's safer not to. The next day at lunch, Emma went to the office rooftop. She needed air, space to think. Michael found her there. "Mind if I join you?" She smiled. "Go ahead." They stood in comfortable silence. Then he said, "You seem different lately, in a good way." Emma thought about it. "I remembered who I used to be, before I decided that caring about myself was a weakness." "What changed?" he asked. "Someone told me that no one would notice me if I didn't notice myself first." Michael nodded thoughtfully, then said something that made her breath catch. "For what it's worth, I always noticed you." "Why?" she whispered. "Because beneath all that armor, I saw someone who was surviving, and I admired that. Emma felt tears threatening. I've been hurt before, she admitted. Badly. Michael looked at her with kindness. I know. You don't have to tell me the details, but not everyone is the people who hurt you. She looked at him, really looked, and took a breath. About that lunch, I think I'd like to go, if the offer still stands. He grinned. It does. In the weeks that followed, Emma's life began to look different. She laughed with Sarah and colleagues over dinner. She browsed bookstores on weekends, feeling peaceful. She cooked proper meals in her now warm apartment. She still worked hard, but there was balance now. She went on that lunch with Michael, then another. They walked through parks, talking easily. She didn't know where it would lead, and that was okay. One Sunday morning, she stood in front of her mirror, and instead of seeing a stranger, she saw herself. She touched her face gently, with kindness, the way you'd touch someone you loved. You see, betrayal does change you. It carves pieces out of you, leaves scars you carry forever. But here's what Emma learned. Those scars don't have to define you. You can build walls so high you suffocate inside them. Or you can choose to heal, to bloom again, to remember that being soft isn't weakness. It's the bravest thing you can be. Emma didn't just survive what happened to her. She didn't just rebuild. She transformed. She learned that trust isn't about never being hurt again. It's about choosing carefully who deserves your heart and trusting yourself enough to know the difference. So if you're listening to this and you've been hurt, betrayed, broken, if you've built walls around yourself and forgotten who you used to be, this is your reminder. You are not your pain. You are not what they did to you. You are not the walls you built to survive. You are the person who chose to keep going, who chose to heal, who chose to notice yourself again. And that is everything. Sometimes the hardest lessons come from the people we love most. But those lessons, they shape who we become, and who we choose to be is always up to us. You cannot heal in the same environment that broke you, but you can heal, and you will bloom again.